Hello, guys. Welcome back. Um, I hope you guys are doing great. And I just to save some time, I wrote the trig um, formula for the sum and difference for sine um, and for the cosine. So let's say that so whatever is up here, this note. Okay, you're gonna have to know. Okay. And let's go ahead and dive into the problem. Okay, so we're gonna have to do some problems today. So sine of 75. Sine of 75 is going to be what? Well, you know that 75 is a unit circle, but 75 is not one of the 0, 30, actually 15. 15 is not a unit circle. 30, 45, 90, right? Now, these are the very common angles. Okay, but 75 now is not one of them. So how do I find sine of 75 without using the calculator? Well, if you look at it very carefully, we notice that the sine of 75 is going to be 45 plus 30, right? And then now, since the hard part is finished, you actually broke the angles down into something smaller, and then we could use one of the formulas. Since we're adding now, we could use the first one. So let me just go ahead and just write the formula first. Alpha is going to be 45 and beta is going to be 30. Okay, remember it's in Greek. Beta is 30 right there, plus cosine of 45 and sine of 30. Now, when you look at this, sine of 45 is on, you remember the unit circle? So feel free to still draw the unit circle if you have to, okay, because it's still important, okay? Now, we're located right there. Sine of 45 is radical 2 over 2, okay? And then cosine of 30 is going to be right over here, right? Cosine of 30 is going to be radical 3 over 2, and we're adding here. Cosine of 45, radical 3 over 2, and sine of 30 is going to be 1/2. Okay, so we got radical 6 over 4 plus, remember this is radical 2, right? So it's going to be radical 2 over 2, radical 2 over 4, actually. And then this is radical 6 plus radical 2. It's going to be, because, this right here is 4 on the bottom. It's going to be 4 all over 4, okay? And this is probably the best way to do it, okay? Now, the common error for people to do, now you shouldn't do this, okay? But this is a common error. Common error is they don't use the formula and they just use distributive. So they say, oh, I'm going to do this, sine of 45 plus sine of 30. Well, if you check with go to Desmos and actually check this, sine of 45 is radical 2 over 2, right? And sine of 30 is 1/2. Now, if you look at it, this right here does not equal radical 6 plus radical 2 over 4. It's totally different. So this is wrong, and this is right. But this is, again, I'm going to put common error. Okay, you try to highlight. Remember, this is the correct answer. Okay, but a lot of students, they fall for the trap, and they end up just doing distributive property. Remember, we have to use the formulas that's given to us, okay? Okay, so that's a good one right there. And let's do another one. Let's do another one, okay? Let's do one that I want to just kind of show you guys though. Leave this right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and do another one. Okay, now we gotta do one where Let me change the color. So we'll do, this time we'll do cosine. So find the cosine of 195. Okay. So how are you gonna do that one? Okay. Let's go back to the formula again and then see if you could just kind of look at the formula, right? So, well, we're gonna have to use cosine. Now we could use addition or subtraction. Now let's suppose that we're gonna do again something like maybe 240 minus something, 240 minus 45. Now this does require some trial and error. And you could do it another way. You could have added two values to get to 195 instead of subtracting. But I think this is probably the best bet. Okay. So applying the formula now, cosine, remember it's cosine. This is going to be alpha. This is beta. So cosine of 240 right there. And then cosine of 45 right there. Remember, if it's for cosine, when it's minus, it's actually plus. And then we have cosine, cosine, sine, sine. Okay, now let's go, I need more space, okay? So we're gonna use the unit circle. Let's do a little sketch of the unit circle again right there. And then we know that 240, remember this is 0, 90, 180. 240 is gonna be right here somewhere, right? 240? No, I'm sorry, it's not over there. It's 270, you know? Yeah. Okay, remember 90 plus 180 plus 90 is 270. Now 240 is gonna be over here somewhere. And we have to look at the reference angle. Okay. Now this is it's gonna be it's gonna be negative 1/2 right there because reference angle is gonna be 60. But we're in the third quadrant, so it's gonna be negative and negative radical 3/2. Okay, so it's negative negative. We gotta need that to find the values, right? So cosine of 240 is gonna be negative 1/2. Cosine of 45 is radical 2/2 plus sine of 240. It looks like it's gonna be radical negative 3/2. And cosine of 45 is going to be radical 2/2. Okay, so you're gonna get negative radical 2/4 plus negative radical 6/4. Now you could leave your answer like this and it's not wrong, but the best answer probably is going to be negative 3 minus negative radical 2 minus radical 6 divided by 4. That's going to be one of the answer. You can box that. Or you could distribute out the negative and put the negative here. The book likes to put it in the middle. Now I like to put the parentheses just to make sure that it shows that we distributed our answer. So they're both correct. Okay. And you might see your book showing both of them at times. Okay, so today we went over, so this is a correct answer and this is a correct answer. So the most important thing today, again, okay, I'm gonna put a happy face because they're both good. So the most important thing is these formulas, these 4 formulas, okay? What I usually do is I don't like to memorize things again, but what I usually do is I know that if I know this one is plus, okay, then this is plus, right? So the minus, I don't really have to know because if I know the sine quantity alpha plus beta, it's going to be cosine, sine, cosine, cosine, sine. And for the plus for cosine, it's going to be minus. And look at the order. It's going to be cosine, cosine, sine, sine. Okay, so if I know those two, then I don't have to worry about the other two. Okay, so I hope this video was helpful to you guys, and I'll see you on the next video.